Hello everybody, welcome back to 366 Days of Hope. My name is Pearl and I'm here to share our next topic, manganese. But a quick disclaimer, I am a personal trainer. I am not a medical doctor, but I love sharing the things that I've learned in regards to health and wellness. So if you have any concerns whatsoever, please make sure you talk to your provider. So let's jump into manganese. So manganese is only obtained from the foods that you eat. But one thing that's really cool is that if you are on a keto diet, manganese is actually responsible of obtaining energy and through amino acids, which converts the amino acids into glucose and glucose into ATP, which we've talked about, which is used in the different energy cycles, such as the Krebs cycle. So it also plays a huge role and is the driving force behind the superoxide dismutase that is an antioxidant, basically, which fights against infections and free radicals in our bodies. It is generally found in the liver, the brain, the kidneys, and the pancreas. It also helps the body form connective tissue. It plays a role in fat and carbohydrate metabolism and calcium absorption, as well as blood sugar regulation, which makes sense, especially if you find it in the pancreas. Lastly, it is necessary for brain and nerve function as well. So what are the benefits of manganese? Well, one, it metabolizes cholesterol to help us create the three most important hormones that is really required for our body, which is estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. And yes, ladies, we do have a little bit of testosterone that we make, some more than others, but is really important for our bodies. So this ability for manganese to metabolize cholesterol is very, very important, since cholesterol is basically what they call the queen of hormones. It basically is responsible for all of our sex hormones. Another benefit is that it strengthens our bones, it helps with our brain development, and it works with vitamin K to help with blood clotting. So what are the signs and symptoms of people who have a deficiency in manganese? Well, one, the first one you'd see is that your hair or your nails grow really slow. It could take maybe months before they start growing out instead of like weeks. You may also notice like a hormonal imbalance because of the fact that the cholesterol is not being metabolized. And you could also notice a demineralization of the bones. It could obviously lead to osteoporosis if that's the case. You can also experience skin rashes, low sperm count for men if it's persistent for a long period of time. And if it's really severe in the deficiency, you could have epilepsy. And because it's responsible for brain development, especially in during pregnancy, it can also cause Down syndrome. So how do you get an excess of manganese in the system? Well, there are a couple ways in which that happens. Well, one, if you're eating foods that have a high content of manganese. Also, if you are in an environment that causes you to inhale or absorb it in some form or fashion, whether it's water that's contaminated with high manganese in it, or maybe it's an occupation that you have that is causing you to absorb it as well, whether it's mining, smelting, or welding, are very common for high manganese exposure. So if you do end up having high manganese in the system, then you could actually have some of these symptoms, which is like slow or clumsy gait. Maybe you have speech disturbances. Maybe you have like a mask-like face. You might experience tremors, hearing problems, insomnia, depression, muscle spasms, mood changes, irritability, headaches, a loss of appetite, just to name a few. So what inhibits manganese from being absorbed? Well, high doses of anything, and as we've seen with all the other vitamins and minerals we've talked about, it usually is a high existence of something else that prevents the absorption of whatever topic we're discussing. And so one of the things that our body does is it desires to enter into homeostasis. And so we want this constant balance, and we have to, maintain it by not eating the same food groups all the time. And for these high doses to happen, you literally would have to consume it at large quantities. So the first one would be high phytic acid, and that exists in beans, seeds, nuts, and soy. So if you're consuming any of those at a high quantity, then yes, you may prevent manganese from being absorbed. The second one would be oxalic acid, which comes from cabbage and spinach and sweet potatoes, and you would also have to get large doses of that to be able to prevent manganese. The other ones would be high zinc, high iron, calcium, and magnesium. So again, with supplementations, it's really important to identify if you're getting too much of any of these vitamins. Remember, sometimes less is better. It does not necessarily mean that that's bad. And we often think more is better, but sometimes more could be more injurious. So be mindful. So what can help our body absorb manganese? Well, of course, we've talked about this, but a healthy gastrointestinal tract is so important. If you can do anything now while not having a pre-existing condition, the better. And the second is calcium. Calcium actually helps absorb manganese. And the last thing we're going to talk about are what are the 3 foods that contain the highest level of manganese. So you don't need a lot of this, okay? The first one is firm tofu, which gives us 129% of our daily value in just 1 cup. The second is mashed sweet potatoes, which gives us 110% of our daily value in 1 cup. And lastly, pine nuts, which gives us 109% of our daily value in 2 tablespoons. So you don't need a lot of it. So again, guys, eat a variety of foods so that way you are not absorbing too much, too little of anything, and it helps your body stay healthy. I don't think I can emphasize that enough, and I'll be talking about it until, basically the cows come home, because the more that I am personally learning as a personal trainer, and the things that I just try to encourage people with is to live their best life by eating the right foods. And remember, health is wealth. You can't live a fulfilling life if you're constantly sick. So do whatever you can to live as healthy and eat as healthy as possible. With that said, may you live, thrive, and be healthy. Take care, guys. Bye.